Welcome to This Got Me Thinking, where clarity comes from conversation and the ideas that spark from it. I am your host, Chris LaFay, and today I have the pleasure of chatting with Mike Bradbury. And in my conversation with him, we dive into the whole concept that the traditional marketing playbook that we all got taught just doesn't work as is anymore. And at a company that he used to work at, he was the one in charge of effectively running said playbook. And not realizing until it was too late that marketing has changed, especially in the space that he was in, and how he took those learnings from working there and transitioned that over into what he is doing now is definitely a masterclass in brand awareness. I'll let him take it from here. Tell me about this challenge that you were talking about. You were working at a company that you thought they were doing everything wrong. So set the stage for me. Tell me a little bit about why you went to work there and kind of the basics of what it was like.
I learned so much at this company, and I have multiple challenges that I could tell you about. Let me tell you about the real easy one first. That's complementary to the owner. And so we had a challenge. We were selling. It was a SaaS startup. And we were selling software, and it was my first ever product marketing job where I really had to get into like positioning and messaging. I'd done a lot of B2B marketing, but I'd never done product marketing. And I had been doing digital marketing forever, and it was mostly performance marketing what I was doing. Like, so I would buy Google ads, or I would send out like blast emails, or we would write blogs and get people to come to the site and try to get them to fill out a form and like sign up for a newsletter, and like all those digital marketing playbooks that we all grew up knowing and loving. And, or maybe you didn't, maybe you're brand new to this world. And he had a podcast, and it was really popular. Tens of thousands of people download his podcasts every week. All he had to do was mention that software once on one of his podcasts, and bam, we got leads and all kinds of stuff. And what was crazy, like, it looked like it was coming through email, and it looked like it was coming through organic search, and on all this other, we were like, look, and he's just doing it like off, like doing it at the podcast. And so we're not necessarily paying great attention to that on the performance side. And so we start getting all these leads, and we're like, oh my God, look at, we're growing. We're going to grow infinitely because of these emails that we're sending out, these ads that we're doing. And then he didn't mention it for a while. He went on doing the rest of his podcast like he normally did. He really hated mentioning it. He didn't, even though, because he felt like it was, selling out who he was and the influencer and the following that he had. And he wanted it, if he was going to talk about it, that it should be super organic. Yeah. And wouldn't you know it, our leads fell off. We got like nothing in. We got no sales, nothing.
Shocker.
Yeah, right? And so at this point, I realized, I was like, oh, my God, what an influencer can actually do to your business. And more importantly, just how much we think as performance marketers, we're changing the narrative of somebody, or we're driving demand, we're changing someone's mind with our marketing. We're not. I don't believe we are at all, or not, maybe not at all. A minuscule amount is how much we're doing it. It was brand awareness. It was this guy saying, hey, check out my software. And that was driving everything.
So he dropped that once. And then you're still sitting in the background-ish, running performance marketing, ads, and all that. How did that impact you? Because you see, the efforts of this one person literally spending 30 seconds dropping, "Hey, you should go check this thing out," and it just, pew, giving you this like exponential growth curve. But you're still back there pushing Google ads and LinkedIn ads or whatever types of ads. How did that feel?
It felt denially. It wasn't. So he would do that, and we'd be like, "Oh yeah, we got all this stuff that came in," but we wanted to be able to say that our emails and our ads and everything else is what was bringing in all of this revenue and all these deals. And we wanted to point to marketing and say, "Look what marketing did. We did this." And so the feeling was very much, how else do we do it? Never really wanting to put the pieces to, or like connect those dots. Didn't want to believe that everything that we'd been taught about and everything that we've read and seen at South by Southwest and everything else, right? These really smart people saying all you need to do is build up a newsletter subscriber base and or get people to fill out a form or whatever it was that, or put up a PPC ad or put up a meta ad. Just say the right things and people will come to you. You can A/B test. Oh, we love to A/B test. A/B test this message against this message, and then you'll see a much bigger conversion rate. We didn't want to let go of those ideas. We wanted to live in performance marketing fable that we'd heard about and not get into the world of like influencers and reputation and brand.
So what did you do then? Because if you knew that you had this lever that you could, I know that you didn't have the choice of whether or not to pull it or not to open up the floodgates. How did you, what options were at your table to grow the company, given that you knew you had this magical lever here on the side that would work, but you knew that you didn't have access to it?
We had a lot of issues with the structure of our marketing team, particularly the size of the marketing team and how much, and like just the burn rate and all those things that are great about SaaS, and all that stuff. And we were too big and we had too many people. And so eventually we had to have a layoff. It's just because in the moment, we didn't want to believe it, right? There was this challenge before us, and the challenge was to like was to make money for this at this job. And I learned something really important from this challenge. And the thing that I learned was that influencers and reputation and brand awareness are like the most important thing in marketing. And what happened from that challenge is I messed it up, and I was too stubborn to actually make the decision to lean into that more. And so I failed, right? And then down the road, I learned from that failure, and I was like, there's no reason to do down the road, right? So like now I'm at Type Marketing. And if you go to our website, it is so bare bones. It's just the homepage. It tells you what we do, and that's it. And there's really nothing else on there. I'm not trying to do SEO. I'm not trying to grow a newsletter following. I'm super hyper focused on building awareness on LinkedIn. I want a network of 100 people at accounts that I want to land. And I want them to remember my name and think of me first when they think about their marketing problem. And that's what I learned, was like, oh, that's all I got to do. And is just get those 100 people to remember me.
Trust matters. It's honestly the largest form of currency that we as marketers have. I know for me, running a B2B business, building websites and things like that, my entire business has been built on word of mouth over, the course of 20 years. No ads, nothing intentional, nothing paid. And obviously there's an element of that should be in play, right? You do need to have solid brand awareness and solid trust and mix in things like paid advertisements and stuff like that just to help stay top of mind to a larger crowd. It's not an either or scenario, it's a continuum and it's a mix. But at the end of the day, if you're staying top of mind for we'll call it the 100 people that know you and trust you, think about the type of business that can be built off just a relatively small list of 100 folks. And like I said when we were recording, I think my list has been a heck of a lot smaller than that. And it has kept us steady for the better part of 20 years. And obviously a segment of that is freelancing. But who are those people in your network? Who are those folks that you need to be staying in touch with, that you need to provide intentional value to, even if that's not necessarily passing along referrals back and forth and things like that? How could you be an encouragement to those people on a regular basis? That's what Mike got me thinking.